So today I'm doing another deck review for Armityle the Chaos Phantom deck. This deck has been a long deck in the making, but I finally got it built, and here we go. I'm going to note now that this is in order of monsters, spells, then traps, but we will be starting off with the extra deck. This is mixed rarity as well, so don't hate on me for that. I don't have a lot of money at the minute, so yeah. We're going to start off with one copy of Armityle the Chaos Phantom. In my other video I referred to this card as purple, because he's a purple fusion monster. You only want to run one copy of him. Running more than one just makes the deck too clammy. So that's him. And then we have one copy of Armityle, Lord of Phantasms. He's been referred to in my other videos as blue, because, well, look at him, he's blue. So it's one copy of him. Next we have one copy of Uriah, Lord of Searing Flames. Again, one copy of him. He's been referred to in my other videos as red. And next up we have one copy of Hamon, Lord of Striking Thunder. One copy again. He's referred to in my other videos as yellow. He's personally my favourite of them all. He's like the best one of them all in my opinion because of his effect. And then next up we have two copies of Curry Bandit. Probably the strongest Kuriboh monster in terms of attack. I'm not 100% sure, I'm not the best at Kuriboh. Finn would be the man to ask about that. But yeah, two copies of that. Next up we have one copy of Battle Fader, because he's nice to run in here. One of the best summon from hand monsters, like special summon from hand anyway. Next up is Marshmallow, because lol. And look at that face. But yeah, one copy of Marshmallow. Next up is another card in this deck that I consider a boss monster, simply because of that effect. If you need a bit more time to read that, just feel free to pause. But yeah, Legendary Meiju Garzet. Correct me if I'm wrong on pronunciation of that. Yeah, that's him. And then we have three copies of Rolling Kuriboh, simply because you want that draw for when you tribute this. You want them draws because it's nice. Three copies of him. And then last of the monsters, we have three copies of Absolute King Backjack. Simply so you can know what you're drawing into at free will. He's nice to run in there. Next up, there are three artworks. Two of them are the same. Of Toon World. Personally, my favourite is this one because it's an original structure deck Pegasus. Yeah. So they're all different from all different sets. This is personally my favourite. It's not in the greatest condition. But yeah, Toon World just for the spells for Hamon. And then we have two copies of Allure of Darkness, because most of the monsters in this deck are dark, so you'll always have something to banish at least. Two copies of Supply Squad, because you're always going to need your squad with you, and if your monsters are destroyed, you're getting some draws out of it. Then we have one copy of Backup Squad, so that you can take damage and draw. It's a nice little card, especially if you've got monsters on board and you've got supply squads too. I personally love Backup Squad. Then we have one copy of Burden of the Mighty, so that your opponent's monsters are losing attack. So it's 300 attack, no 100 attack, sorry, for their level. Got my camera focus, please. There we go. Yeah, 100 attack for each times their level. Then we've got Wonder Balloons, one copy of this again. So you send any number of cards from grave to from hand to grave, place a counter, and your opponent's monsters lose 300 attack for each counter, which is nice. Then we have Marshmallow Glasses, simply because it's nice to go with Marshmallow. If your opponent has Marshmallow on field and then they flip a Glasses on you, you're not going to like it, which is why I have it in here, because it's fun. And then we have one copy of Card Trader, because if you have a card in your hand that you don't really want, you can send it back to deck, draw another card. Then we have a copy of Reasoning. This is a very old printing of Reasoning, so that text down there in that effect is not gonna make most sense, but it is a legitimate copy. Next we have one copy of Infinite Cards, so that you basically don't have to worry about your hand limit at the end of the turn. So yeah. Then we have one copy of Banner of Courage to boost all your monsters during the battle phase, during your battle phase only. It's simple enough. And then lastly, for the spell cards in this deck, we have one copy of Lullaby of Obedience. I love this. I absolutely love running this card in any deck I build. It's a shame I've only got one copy to go between my 3 decks. I do need to go and get some more copies. Hopefully I will be getting some more soon. But yeah, that's the last of the spell cards for this deck. So next we'll be moving on to the trap cards. Next we have one copy of Shadow Spell, just so that your opponent's monsters can't attack or change battle position. I have that in there. Then we've got a copy of Cyber Shadow Gardener, because this is going to become a monster, and I actually put it in here not remembering that it's only during your opponent's main phase, and so I actually forgot about that, but it does come in handy sometimes. Then we have a copy of Fiendish Chain, so that you can again have some continuous traps for Uriah. Next up is not one but 2 copies of Call of the Haunted, because you're going to want to be able to bring your stuff back. So if you have Call of the Haunted, it's one of the easiest trap cards to use in this deck. So next up is 2 copies of Quantum Cat. This in here so that you can activate it and then summon it as a monster, but it is also still a trap card, so it counts for both Raviel if you summon it as a fiend monster, and it counts for Uriah. So that's what most of the monsters are in, traps are in here for, just extra monsters really. And next we have 3 copies of Swamp Mirrorer. It's in here for exactly the same purpose as Quantum Cat, only it's got different attacks. It's literally got different attack stat and defense. So that's why it's in here. It's basically allowing you to run 5 copies of the same card. I like it. And then finally, for the last card in the deck, we have Copy Knight. So you can basically summon Swamp Mirror or Quantum Cat as a warrior, and because it states right here, level 4 or lower warrior type monster, you can summon it, and summon this is the same, and so this will become, if you summon Swamp Mirror as a, I don't know, a Dark Warrior for example, this will become Warrior, oh no sorry, it will gain the same name and level. So you summon Swamp Mirror, this will become Swamp Mirror. It's pretty nice. I personally really like it.